and the select board, the town government desperately needs to hear I have no question. I'm just overjoyed. This town needs to hear from the other towns. Thank you.
And I'm sure David is delighted that you're joyed that he's asked a question that you've gotten you. Nancy? I'm trying to pick people that haven't been picked before, and we got somebody up back that's,
Hi.
I'll get you.
Hi, my name is Nancy Warner, and I've been a health professional for 40 years. It's been my career. My question is for the doctor. That I did some research. I was really concerned too if there was any health issues connected with the project. And I found a year ago that the medical staff of Northern Maine Medical Center unanimously approved a statement that there should be more study, that they should try to figure out what is going on before wind power is put out. And I also found this extremely interesting because I know this town is extremely concerned for the well-being of their children, that the Association of Pediatric Physicians in the state of Maine also came out with a statement asking that a moratorium be put on any wind power projects in the state of Maine until they could have further study. So I'm going to ask the good doctor, I was very interested in your own thoughts in the one study, but apparently, and I didn't have time for a lot of research, is there any movement between physicians nationally looking at the health effects and communicating with each other and trying to getting the results out to people? Thank you.
That was a good question. There is no national movement. What happens usually, from what I can see, is that physicians in different areas are called upon by people who have had some problems or experienced different types of issues. They become interested, they read up on it, they find out that there is very little in the way of any studies. And there are individual concerns that are expressed. So if you look in Ontario, there's a lot of people that have had questions. If you look in Van Haven, Maine, people have issues. You look at Morris Hill. If you look at different areas, going online, you'll see that there are people that have complaints. There's no medical science that has evolved yet. Is there a medical science that should be evolved? Well, just like any other question, I think it's a good idea that we begin to address that yes or no, there are significant issues. Now, my gut feeling is that there are some. I think they are probably related around issues of sleep. I think that they may well be related to people's sensitivity to noise. It may or may not be an actual disease state. It may be how certain people react. We don't know the answer to that. But if we don't ask the questions, we may feel that we've made mistakes later.
I just want to read something very quickly to you. This is Dr. Shapiro had mentioned that there was a study that was sponsored by the American Wind Energy Association and the Canadian Wind Energy Association. Both are lobby groups that are missioned to see more and more wind energy develop. They put together what they termed an international panel to look at and review the existing documents talking about turbine noise and the impacts on people. And their conclusion was pretty much that there's not an issue based on the documents that exist today. But I want to tell you that after that report came out in December of 2009, January 28, 2010, I have an article that came out of the UK paper. It's entitled, "Wind Turbines Set to Get Bigger." And I'm going to quote a gentleman. One of the people that sat on the international panel was a man by the name of Jeff Leventhal, Dr. Jeff Leventhal. He's an acoustician, a noise expert, and he's been working for the wind industry for a long time. You need to hear this quote. It says, this is part of the article, noise, vibration, and acoustics consultant Dr. Jeff Leventhal said there was no doubt people living near the turbines suffered a range of symptoms, including abnormal heartbeats, sleep disturbance, headaches, tinnitus, nausea, visual blurring, panic attacks, and general irritability. He stated that and was picked up by the UK press, to which he added, I have lots of people phoning me up and telling me that it's ruining their lives, and it's genuine, he said. Dr. Leventhal then said that he is taking part in a project that aims to use psychotherapy to enable sufferers to live with the noise. The aim is to reduce the stress that's related to noise. People get very stressed, and the aim is to make it bearable for them. Can you believe that? Imagine if it was an airport.
But there's a catch for that.
What is the catch?
You can have the same thing living next to Interstate 91, next to Columbia Veneer Mill, or next to Sierra. Noise keeps you away.
Mr. Anella, I'm talking about Dr. Leventhal's response to wind turbine noise.
This is the source.
Psychotherapy.
The Department of Health said this.
Thank you. We have one more question. The lady with the red sweater.
Yes, I actually have two questions, but because I've been sitting way back here, I haven't been seen yet.
So why do you think you're entitled to two?
Well, sit on there, Scott, here.
This guy's been after me for his second one all evening. Go ahead.
I know that stress can cause sleep apnea and different sleep pattern deprivation as far as from a cardiologist's perspective. You specifically looked up wind power. Did you look up anything in regards to people living near an airport, like in Burlington, right there in Burlington, or next to train tracks that through this country, you know, go through North Troy and Newport and everything? Anybody that gets waken up from the train tracks, anyone that has neighbors that drive tractor trailers. My neighbor wakes me up when he goes down at 3 o'clock in the morning. Have you checked any other patterns of sleep that could be disturbed other than with wind in your studies?
Well, I haven't conducted any studies personally, and I think I made that pretty clear.
Right.
What I have said tonight is that there are many people who have been living within proximity to wind turbines who have given stories of having trouble with sleeping. Okay? I cited Dr. Nissenbaum's study where he took 22 people who lived near the turbines and 28 who didn't. And that he found differences in their sleep issues, among other things. And that's really pretty much what I've said tonight. I am not an expert on airports or noise in particular, and I really make no claim to be. My interest in this has to do with the fact that people who have had experiences and have stated that their problems with living near wind turbines have caused them to have a lot of sleep issues draws attention because we are currently at the very beginning of a process where we will be likely instituting wind turbines in various proximities. And so what I am here tonight to do is to say, hey, before we do this, let's find out where it can be helpful and where it can be harmful. And if it is going to be harmful and disturb people, let's minimize that. If it's going to be helpful, okay.
You had one more quick one?
I did. The first speaker is Justin. I'm sorry.
Yes.
You made a comment about people not being compensated, and you were talking about neighbors of the wind turbines. Is that right?
Right.
Because I made several calls myself, you know, to Leinster and Tug Hill, 2 towns, Lowell and Martinville. Actually called West Virginia, Thomas, West Virginia, Tucker County wind farm there. And they actually said that where there were close proximities, and they were talking like within half a mile, a house within half a mile of proximity, that most of the times, and everything is confidential, but most of the times the wind developers did make private contracts with them. And I know in Leinster that they did. And I know that the town clerk also told me that in some cases there was clauses added to their deeds as addendums that if their property sells, they've already got paid off, so the next person can't get paid off. So I think compensation has occurred in some of these other areas, even though you didn't think so. And it may or may not happen here, and it is a confidential issue. So for you to just say it's not happening, I didn't necessarily agree with.
Well, I'll talk to Mr. Steve Miner next time I see him. Right now he's hiding away from Leinster. When he comes back, he's a neighbor of mine who really has had some problems with it. We'll find out if he's gotten compensated, because he's pretty honest with me.